Hello everyone, I'm the... who fucking cares? Who gives a fuck when I'm in a world where this monster is still alive and is seemingly unkillable? I mean, I sent a top assassin, such as this gentleman here, and a man who wanted this job of taking down the monster so badly he literally broke the bounds of time to get it. But clearly, just like previous encounters, the inhuman psychopath fed on the passion he had, apparently more than literally anyone might think, and then used that passion to fuel him in taking my assassin down. When I was at the center of a plot hole filling all the inconsistencies of the universe, I saw some fucked up shit. Mother of God, some of the things that the universe considers inconsistencies that I had to correct could drive me to tears, but I was able to power through it and get the job done. But this monster, this creature, is something else entirely, and clearly something that neither I nor any man could take down. Because we all have one fatal weakness that this monster will always exploit: our sanity. So I've come to the realization that the only way we're ever going to see the end of Milan Jeftic 1992's reign of terror is by sending an assassin who does not have sanity that can be broken, does not have passion that can be exploited, an assassin with the strength of 100 men and one purpose: to get its target. Ladies and gentlemen, I believe it's time that Milan Jeftic was terminated.
Run as fast as you can, my sweet and innocent mechanical man. You can't get away, no matter how hard you try. And when I catch up, oh God, what fun I shall have!
This for you.
What's this?
Mail.
You just walked into my house to deliver this?
Like, that's the weirdest thing that's ever happened on this show.
Fine, whatever. Just leave it.
Fucking internet nerd.
What happened?
It was awful. Calculating. The horror. Calculating. He screamed binary at me. Calculating. The next sentence is true. The previous sentence is false. Calculating.
What are you calculating?
The solution to destroying Milan Jeftic. Solution found. In a world where monsters like that can exist, there's only one solution which solves the problem. All humanity must be terminated. This is my judgment.
Gentlemen, the time has come once again to discuss things.
I mean, Alright, hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Geeky Gentlemen. I am Sid Part 2, joining me today is Melonjeftic1992 and Zazbar. Say hello, gentlemen.
Hello, gentlemen.
I had sex with a robot today.
Sure you did. Anyway, on
that note,
taping wires to your hand does not count.
No, dude, this fucking robot thing came to my house today, and it tried to kill me, but, you know, like all things that try to kill me, they always end up at the end of my dick. It tried to run, but I caught up with it, and, you know.
Apparently it uses a spoon as well. I heard news. I heard it on the news.
Not really a spoon, but one of those things that mechanics use to do things with machines.
A wrench?
I used it.
A wrench?
That's the one.
There's so many things that could have been there. Like, thank God we guessed the right one. Like, we could have been like an air socket wrench.
Afterwards, there's nothing left but the head. You know what I did? I took off the head and sent it back to the guy who sent me the robot. But basically,
Right.
like, what a nice guy though. Like, he sent me a violent sex robot. Basically, what I did, I took the body and I just put like Henry Cavill's suit on it, and I just use it as a sex slave, and it's awesome.
Why Henry Cavill?
That is the most asinine question ever. Why not Henry Cavill?
I mean, I suppose why not? Do you really?
Shut up,
really,
Bill. Shut up.
really like-
You are an ignorant individual. Henry,
Why
why
you
not
really-
Henry
you
Cavill?
think Henry Cavill's like really like hot?
Yes, you dumb cunt, of course.
Really?
Jesus.
I don't know. I've never heard any girls or gay dudes look at him and go like, "Oh, that's something else right there."
Oh, you bitch.
Really? I don't know.
Okay, how about we not...
I guess it's because I don't care. I'm just like,
How
I'm
about we
indifferent
not
to that
talk
sort of thing.
about... How about we not talk about hot guys on the show? How's
No, it's significant. No, Ian, this is significantly more interesting to me than the actual topic. Like, what guys Milan finds hot? Because it's like I don't have any concept of it. So.
Bill, you can have a concept of it if you dwell on questions like that. I hate to tell you, it'd make you question your sexuality here, but that's...
No, not
That's
questioning him.
something-
Yeah,
like,
that's
what-
my job to make him question his sexuality, not yours, Ian. Jeez. Yeah.
Alright.
Well, you're not making me question it. I'm like, really? Alright.
Anyway.
I'll make you
So,
question.
yeah, we do have a topic that kind of, like, very, not really at all relates to what we were just talking about. It was my topic this week, and it was a review topic, but because I literally have this thing where when I don't know what we're going to review on the show, I literally look over to my DVD shelf and I'm like, what is in there that would produce some kind of interesting conversation? And the top
Most
left...
of it is always Godzilla.
No, actually it's not, because the Godzilla is separate, so this is all other stuff that's not Godzilla.
You have your own private little shrine for Godzilla.
How about we
just
let Bill save the topic?
Okay, fuck, we can do that.
Because
No,
it's gonna
that-
take
that's-
10 minutes anyway.
Yeah.
No, I literally have no intro for this whatsoever.
Just
So
say
look
it,
at
dude. Just say it. Just say it.
Top left, all 4 Terminator movies. And I was like, we could review all 4, but that means I have to rewatch 3, so we're not doing that. So I decided that in the spirit of a debate that has gone on in the geek community for decades, we are going to be reviewing and comparing and contrasting the first 2 Terminator films. The 2 best, I think, and there's a lot of debate in the geek community as to whether or not Terminator 2 is a sequel that greatly outdoes the original.
Oh,
That's the opinion a lot of people have, and I think it's something interesting. And even if we all agree, which I don't know if we do, it's something that, like, we dissect it. Why is that it? Because nobody ever really goes into why, except for the obvious technical reasons. But I think that's an interesting
Okay,
thing to go
I can
into.
go-
Terminator 1, Terminator 2.
I can go into why 2 is a significantly better film right now. Kyle Reese isn't there.
Oh, come on, man. Kyle Reese is...
Really?
That actor was shit.
Oh, you're a bull. Oh, that's horse shit. That's so...
no,
I
no,
hated that
dude.
actor.
I love that actor, because he had the voice of what's his name?
Michael Biehn?
No. The guy who was in Back to the Future. The one with the
Michael J. Fox?
That's the one. He's like a grown-up Michael J. Fox from an alternate timeline.
Really?
Yeah.
I never saw Michael Biehn as a grown-up Michael J. Fox.
He has that kind of screechy
No,
voice.
but honestly, I could not stand that actor. Just every line he delivers is so awkward and terrible, and it ruins the majority of the scenes he's in.
I disagree completely.
Yeah, Michael J. Fox was great in Terminator 1.
Now I wish that had happened. Like he got cast in Terminator 1. It would have been better than Teen Wolf. I don't.
Teen Wolf is the greatest cinematic accomplishment humanity has ever achieved.
No,
don't
that's
you
not true.
dare
That's
talk about
Sharknado. Sharknado was the greatest achievement of humanity.
that. Okay,
Did you know there's a scene in Teen Wolf near the end where a guy in the audience literally gets up and pulls his dick out?
No, I did
And
not know that.
it's in the movie. I was listening to Hollywood Babylon and they pointed that out. And
Was
I
it
was
just
like,
an act? Like, was it an extra that just decided to flash it?
Yeah, it was an extra, and he literally did it. It was in the background, so I mean, you can't see unless you fucking like really look for it. And you can't see like detail, but it's very obvious what it is because you literally see the motion.
That's really funny, actually.
It is really funny and very metaphoric for that film's quality.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you get dick in your face, the best thing ever. Shut up.
Anyway, no, I like, you guys can disagree with me, but I couldn't stand that actor
I
whatsoever.
never had that.
Like, he just ruined everything, every scene he was in for me, because his line delivery is awkward, he's not a very believable, protagonist. Like, I can't see this guy being like, you know, the dude that goes back in time to do all this great stuff. And it's just like that scene where he tells Sarah Connor that he loves her. I hated that, because I don't know if it's shitty writing or shitty acting, but it's shit. The first movie is a horror movie with a bit of an action slant to it that has a lot more potential than anyone realized. And the second movie is this really interesting sci-fi action film that also goes places when you really sit down and think about it, but doesn't lose the entertainment factor.
Yeah, I mean, my bigger problem in terms of acting with the first one is I don't think that, what's her name? Sarah Connor. Whatever, her actress name. Linda Hamilton. I don't think Linda Hamilton had really hit her stride yet in terms of performance. And the one thing that Terminator 1 doesn't have that the second one has, and one of the reasons why the second one is so good and so interesting, is the character that Sarah Connor is in Terminator 2.
Oh God, yes, she's the best part about that movie.
Oh yeah, and it's
Yeah.
funny because
I think
as
what
much
it
as
is,
you got. Go ahead.
One second, let me just finish this. I think why she's so good in Terminator 2 and not in Terminator 1 is, I think she did Terminator 1 thinking it was just going to be a horror movie, and she did it for a paycheck. And then once she saw how popular it was and she got the chance to come back, she really wanted to, like, market herself as a big-name actress. So she started doing a lot more with the role. She put everything she had into the role in the second film. But go ahead.
And it's interesting how you seem to not like the first one, but if it wasn't for the first time, we wouldn't get that awesome contrast with the second film. Because yes, in the first movie, Sarah Connor is a bit ditzy, kind of like just your average cocktail waitress, just like, hey, I'm kind of goofy and whatever. And it's just like, well, not goofy, she's kind of bland, really. But it's just like, you know, in the second film, you get that awesome contrast that she's seen what the future could hold, and she's like completely rebuilt herself from the ground up. She went from this like kind of normal, you know, cocktail waitress, whatever, lady, to just this survivalist, this you know, military lady, just this completely batshit insane, shit is gonna go down and I need to get ready. And I will spawn.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and it's funny. Funny thing, the way Ian talks about it, it's like Terminator 1 was like Sharknado, and Terminator 2 is essentially, what if, like, you know, the first movie, the Sharknado gets made, and some other guy comes along and basically does a sequel, and it's this really poignant philosophical discussion about sci-fi and, you know, stuff like that.
Don't get me wrong, I like elements of the first movie. I think there's a lot. I think it sets a lot of interesting stuff up. I just don't think it realizes its own potential.
I mean, the problem with that is the movie was made for like a fucking $1.50. I mean, that's the biggest problem, and I think that's also what goes along with the actors. Like, these are actors who were just getting into film. I think and let me just say this because it hasn't been brought up. I I think Terminator 2 is a better movie. All around, almost every aspect of the first movie that they do introduce is improved upon in Terminator 2. I think that's absolutely true. I think it's very much so close to undebatable. Here's what's lacking in Terminator 2 that I missed from the first movie, and why I do find myself going back to watch the first one more often than the second one. First things first, it's better paced. Second,
No.
I miss that gritty tone.
Oh,
The first movie is insanely gritty.
The thing with the first movie, sorry about it. The first thing with the first movie, I like how it managed to get that kind of, was it New York or like that 80s city night, LA, that the whole nightlife feel to it. It was weird. It did this thing where it was claustrophobic, but at the same time expansive. I love how reasonably realistic, that whole fight scene in the police station was, and it was kind of scary because it takes that whole fear of the shooter being invincible.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like you try to shoot this motherfucker down, but he won't go down. But that's the thing. I like how it had that classic '80s cheese, but it didn't. It was good cheese. It was fresh cheese.
I mean, it's definitely indicative of the '80s. I mean, especially that scene where Sarah goes into the techno noir club and she's waiting for her friend her friend to come get her, and she's sitting in the back, and that's where Kyle comes in, and that's where she meets Kyle, and that's very indicative of the '80s. But what I miss about the tone that's not in the second movie is this very pessimistic, gritty, both visual and overall tone style. And I think the scene...
I think the biggest problem with the second film, to kind of jump onto your point here, Bill, is that it's too 90s.
I don't know about that, but let me just say this to finish on my point. Hang on. The scene that I think defines what I miss about the first one that's not in the second one is one of the, I guess we can call them flashbacks, but they're technically flash forwards, is where Kyle comes back from his recon mission and he goes down into the base, and he walks through that corridor just filled with these just disgusting remnants of humanity. One of them is hunting a rat for food.
Yeah.
You see a couple of people around a TV with fire in it. You see kids running around. It's a very sad scene.
Yeah, I like that, but I think Terminator 2 has a lot more stuff like that. It's just, you don't get the gritty aftermath, you just get the initial start of the nuclear war. I really like that. I think my favorite scene in Terminator 2 is Sarah Connor standing on the other side of that fence yelling at the playground. I adore that scene because it's like the exact... I mean, you gotta give James Cameron credit for a guy who is an action movie director. He really does know how to set something up that makes you kind of feel.
Terminator 2 is an extremely emotional movie.
Oh, yeah.
And when you look at what it is and the characters involved, you wouldn't think it would be. You've got a robot, and a crazy mother, and a punk kid, and it's an insanely emotional story.
Yeah.
And,
I think the one thing that could have been improved about Terminator 2 is it almost happened anyway, and I like, this is why I think it's too 90s. When you got the catchphrases, which, oh my god, that kid with the fucking teaching the Terminator how to talk. It's funny, but oh my god, it's so 90s.
We don't know as much as we grew up in the 90s,
Hold on. So anyway, there's that, but also, I don't like that Sarah Connor lives. I think Sarah Connor should have died, and that John Connor should have had to kill the Terminator, all Old Yeller style, but sci-fi-y. Because I think that would have made it a much more gritty, emotionally impactful movie, as opposed to this, we've saved humanity kind of thing. I think that if you could have if you had the T-1000 kill Sarah Connor, because he has that really awesome scene where he's all like, he shakes his finger at her after she almost knocked him into the lava, but before the T-800 comes up and shoots him, the last time. I think that was a really cool scene, and I think he should have killed her before the T-800 killed him. I really think that's what should have happened in the script, because then you would have had John Connor have to kill the T-800, and I just think it would have been a much more impactful and much more somber ending to something that would have actually made T3 make a little more sense.
I can dig it. what they went with is better than the original script ending, because the original script ending would have left no room for a sequel. There's a deleted scene. There's a deleted scene, you can find it online, of after that shot of the road, they cut to a park in like 20 years where John Connor is an adult, and he's this very like basic American suburban dad playing with his kids in a park, and Sarah Connor is this old cliched grandmother sitting on a bench. And she's doing narration, and the kid runs over, and Sarah Connor starts tying her shoes, and the whole time I'm like, no, James Cameron's gonna fuck with me. Something's gonna happen, like the nukes are gonna come down or something. And it doesn't. And I was like, that's so lame. Thank God they went with what they went with, because this is bullshit.
Yeah,
I mean, how?
It's not a good movie. It has some cool lines. Like, I really like, what do you guys, come off an assembly line? Precisely.
Yeah, I mean, he should have known that already. Like, I'm like, John Connor, yes, they do. You didn't know that? I think the best thing about Terminator 3 is the action scenes and the special effects. I mean, they're really good.
Yeah, the thing with the action scenes in T3 is that, say what you will about the story, it's a little bit more comedic. It was a bit of a rehash, but it's the last
slightest, dude.
It's T2 in the 2000s.
Yeah, the thing is,
with a woman. That's all it is.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Yeah.
Yeah. The thing with that one is, it's just so cool because it's just like, this is the last movie of the 2000s that actually had practical destruction effects.
I don't know about that.
In Salvation, I could have sworn they did a little bit.
There's a lot of practical in Salvation.
Oh, really?
A lot of the T-800s and T-600s are all practical.
Oh, cool.
There's one shot in Salvation that I love, because it's right out of T2, is when John Connor goes into like this. I guess he's going into the base.
Oh, you mean where he shoots the Terminator skull, like, as opposed to in T2 how the Terminator stomps on the human skull? And in Salvation, where John Connor like stomps on the Terminator skull and shoots.
No. I'm talking about the ending.
Oh, okay.
I'm talking about the end credit, or not. Like the last climax, where a T-800 then walks by the door that John Connor just went into, and it's a fully practical Terminator. And I'm like, oh my God, we're watching Terminator. Because the whole movie. I don't mind Salvation. I think it's a little boring at points, but the whole movie, I'm like, this doesn't feel like a Terminator movie.
No, it just,
and then you get
too much CGI. It's like whenever I see that level of like, at first I was like, oh my God, there's a giant robot thing, and it's just like, huh.
I don't know if it's a CGI. I think it's more of it was made by a different studio. Is the biggest problem that it was made by Warner Brothers and not by Fox. I mean, Terminator Salvation is a gorgeous looking movie. I just think that the story it's just lackluster for the potential it could have had to set it in the future. And it's like, alright, hey guys, we're going to make a Terminator movie, and we're going to set it in the future. Oh, thank God, we've been waiting for that for 2 movies. But we're not going to set it in the future. We're going to do, like, a couple of years before we build the ray guns, because that'll be cheaper to do. It's like, fuck you. Give me my laser guns or don't give me anything.
The thing with the Kyle Reese in the first movie is, yes, the fucking laser guns always like, fuck no laser guns. I'm heartbroken. But the thing with Kyle Reese,
don't give me anything.
Yeah. The thing with Kyle Reese is like, I kind of buy him as being that protagonist because Ian expects him to be like this square-jawed, I'm from the future. But
no,
the
that's
thing
not
is,
what I expect. I expect a good actor.
I kind of like him because from what we see of his time on the decimated Earth, everything is essentially shit, and he's undernourished, and they're basically overwhelmed. And of course, he's a little bit shitty in his conversation because he doesn't have any real proper interactions with human beings, so he just like fights all the time. And the people he does hang out with are all shell shocked, veterans and refugees and whatever. And like death is waiting in every corner. I understand why he can be a little awkward.
No,
I never got the awkward thing out of there.
You can do good acting with that kind of character, and what this actor does is not good acting. It is awkward line delivery because he does not know how to deliver lines. It's not because his character can't talk.
I never got that awkward level out of him at
all.
all.
Me neither.
I mean, maybe I'm desensitized to like. Because I've been watching a lot of 80s action movies the past couple days. Like, I literally binge-watched all the Beverly Hills Cop movies yesterday.
Well, let me put it this way. This is only the second time I've seen this movie.
T1?
Yep.
Oh my god, I have seen both of these movies like a million times each.
I've seen Terminator 2 a couple times. I like enough not to remember the number. I've only seen Terminator 2. This is my second time ever, because a couple years ago I was like, I should watch all the Terminator movies, and I did. And yeah, I mean, how many actors have played John Connor, for one?
4.
That's pretty nuts. That's almost like Batman level, isn't it?
Wait, hang on. T2 there's 2. T3 there's 1. And then T4 is Christian Bale, so 4.
Yeah.
Whoa. What do you mean 2 and T2?
Because there's the older John Connor who has the scar on his face, who looks like a fucking major badass, and then there's the kid.
What the hell? Where was that?
That's in the opening scene
of the movie.
Oh.
There's that great because I mean, and here that's a scene that kind of is indicative of what I miss about T1 is that it's in the future, it's dark, this fucking dead bodies and shit, but it doesn't feel gritty. It feels a little bit too shiny.
Oh yeah, that's the thing.
Is that also?
I'm thinking because in the first movie, Bill. In the first movie, they had that kind of claustrophobic, shitty feel. It actually looked like a bombed out city. While in the second one was a little bit too glitzy Hollywood.
I mean, the problem is, it's a weird thing, because it was a problem in the first movie because the budget was too low, so they had to make it look that small. And then it's a problem in the second movie because they had this gigantic budget, and then they turned it into this gigantic spectacle, and they kind of lacked what they had in the first place. It's a weird thing. But here's what I do like about T2 that the first movie obviously doesn't have it all. They turn a robot or a cybernetic organism that should not have any character whatsoever and turn him into one of the most likable characters in the movie.
Oh, definitely. That's the thing. If you look at T2 and you look at how Arnold does the Terminator, he's such a good actor at being very cold and emotionless, and that's harder to do than people think.
Yeah.
Because it's hard not to let your actual emotions creep into a performance of coldness. And I always look at Terminator 2, I'm like, why couldn't... that's why let me start over. I always look at Terminator 2, I'm like, that's how Mr. Freeze should have been. That's why Arnold being
weird, right?
Mr. Freeze was a good premise. It just... the script was shit.
I mean, that's the thing. I definitely think Arnold could have pulled off Mr. Freeze with the correct script.
Yeah, with his helmet off, he looks like Mr. Freeze with the bald head and the shining, eyes, with the little black ruby eyes.
He didn't need glitter on his ass, but yeah.
Wait, on his ass? I mean,
I want to see that cut of the film.
And the scenes where you do get to see him. In the scenes where you do get to see him without the fucking costume, he's wearing a fucking blue robe, and he looks like fucking Hugh Hefner in a fucking icebox.
Well, no, I just mean, you look at him in those scenes where he's not wearing the outfit, and he's got all the shiny shit on him. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I mean, it's just there to have him pop.
When did Mr. Freeze become a Twilight vampire?
When Joel Schumacher took over Batman.
Fabulous. I think it looked fabulous, really.
I honestly think that if you did Arnold as that cold, emotionless Mr. Freeze, like his second appearance in the animated series where Nora had left him after he was able to resurrect her. Nora left him, and he's just, decided that his vengeance will not be directed at her, but will be directed at the world, and everyone will feel as cold and empty as him. I love that scene where he's like, there's this art gallery, and this guy unveils this painting called Gotham at Twilight, and Mr. Freeze just shows up, and he's all like, exquisite. The brushwork is fantastic. How long did it take you to develop the technique? A year? 5 years? A lifetime? And he points the freeze gun at it, and the guy who stands for him is like, no, please don't. I'll never be able to paint another. And he goes, pity. And just fucking destroys the painting.
Oh my god! I don't remember this. I haven't seen that episode. That was in the new Batman Adventures, right?
Yeah, it's like
I don't revisit those that often.
Freeze moments ever, and that's how Arnold should have played him, with just that pale white original Frankenstein kind of look to him. And that's the other thing I noticed about watching Terminator 1. God, it's a shame Arnold never played Frankenstein's monster.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
He has to look for it.
I mean, and he has the accent. I mean, if they're gonna actually be accurate,
the monster has to speak.
I mean, no. The thing is, the monster, it all takes place like in the, where Arnold is from, essentially. And like, if they're gonna go book accurate, then yes, I mean, he has the square head. He's tall and ridiculously muscular. I mean, he really can. His head naturally, you don't even have to do any, do much makeup. Just he looks like Boris Karloff, except more built.
Yeah, but to get back to Terminator a little bit, I really did like his performance in both of them. Terminator 2 especially, because he pulls off that like cold and motionless style without letting his own sense of self creep into it. And I don't know how much is the direction and how much is just him being the Terminator or his own acting ability, but whatever it is, it's fantastic, and that's what Mr. Freeze should have been. And that's why I can see why they picked him for that, because it should have worked, but it just didn't. But I really do like Arnold's performances in these. I can't really remember how well he did in Terminator 3 since I've only seen it the one time, and I think that's enough.
He looks strangely short for some reason, and I don't know why.
The thing is,
I rewatched
camera
T3.
angles. The thing with the first one, it's all about camera angles, because with a good cinematographer, he can make a very reasonably sized person look like tall and large.
Yeah, look at the Lord of the Rings films. I mean, what's his name? Elijah Wood is not that short compared to Ian McKellen, but they pull it off really well.
Yeah,
they did it with Tom Hardy as Bane.
Yeah. But the thing is, in the first movie, the cinematography was great, but they weren't really focusing much on the the size of Arnold. I mean, he does look imposing, and it's fucking Arnold, but
yeah, he looks big. And in Terminator 3, every
looks
time
bigger.
he's fucking on. No, in Terminator 3, he looks shorter.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
Well, it's a different director, isn't it? Yeah, so.
Yeah, of course, but he just. I'm saying him as an actor, he looks like he's shrunk, and that doesn't happen to people. And once he started chain smoking in between T2 and T3.
I don't know, how old was he by the time he did T3? Because T2 is almost 9 years later?
God,
T2 was about almost a decade after T1, and
it was more than that. It was 11 years. It was 92, and T1 was 81.
Yeah,
T3 was.
You look at him, and he, men age better than women, but you can tell he aged. Sarah Connor looks so much older.
Linda Hamilton? No, she did not age well. Arnold didn't age well once he took office. I'll say that much.
Yeah, definitely.
Of course,
between T2 and T3, or T2 and T3, he looks so much older. It's ridiculous.
I mean, it's kind of helped by the sunglasses, but it doesn't help when his first scene he's naked. I mean, it's not a smart move.
Yeah.
Though I'll say this for T3, to regard to the effects, I love the effect of the time bubble materializing in the desert, and the sand turns into glass, and Arnold steps on it. I think that's a really cool effect. They hadn't done anything like that in the first two.
Yeah.
I like that the time bubble gets bigger and better with each film, though. The first one's just kind of electricity. The second one, it burns that shape into the truck. I thought that was a really cool effect.
Yeah.
And it does the same thing to the fence.
It's weird. Kyle Reese seems to fall through it.
Yeah.
And I don't see how that's possible. How did he get up? I don't know. That always weirded me out. I was like, how the fuck did he fall out of the time bubble? That doesn't seem to make sense. Because all the and I guess it kind of makes sense. He's a human and these are Terminators. And they don't feel pain, or at least not our kind of pain, as Arnold says in the second one. But it always weirded me out. How the fuck did he fall like that?
Maybe
it's a weird
he
thing.
was.
It's a weird thing.
The thing, maybe he was crouching. I remember him being crouching. Maybe because after the thing's done, he's just he's got his fucking entire body rematerialized, from atom to atom. So it must fucking hurt. You gotta jump around fuck.
No, but I'm saying, Milan, it seems to materialize on the ground with you being on the ground. So he should realistically just kind of keel over. But he seems to fall, from out of the air. It's irrelevant, but it always weirded me out.
One more thing about Arnold. You say that he got really old. I mean, once he took office, he couldn't exercise anymore, and then, once you stop exercising and you get to that age, time catches up. It's just like
well, I
you
mean,
can't do.
no lie,
yeah.
he's pretty fit for a guy his age, but the thing is, he can't
definitely.
ever play Terminator again. Like, he could do the voice, and
He is though.
he's going to be in the 5th one.
Yeah, they're doing a T5. It's called Terminator Genesis, and I think he's a major producer behind it.
Well, like, is he going to be, like, you got to do a CG Arnold like they did in Salvation, which I thought looked fantastic.
It did look really good,
I
yeah.
honestly thought they went and found a lookalike to do that. I did not believe it was CG at first.
No, I knew it was CG because it was Arnold right out of the first movie, but it did look fantastic. I mean, I think they were smart with it because these are some of the first T-800s they're doing. And as a Terminator fan, when John Connor blows it apart with the grenade and you just see the exoskeleton fully formed classic, I was like, dun dun dun. I was like, fuck yeah. I'm wondering what studio's doing it though, because Warner Brothers bought the rights to the franchise, but Terminator Salvation didn't really wow at the box office, so I'm wondering if they're gonna do this one or if it's going back to Fox.
I just
don't
want
know.
it to stop because it's just like the first one and second one were great. I loved them both. The third one was a fun romp, but the fourth one was just like. I didn't feel any like emotional connection to it. It had some neat scenes. I like when in the fourth one when the cute bald cancer-ridden girl comes to see the guy in the jail cell and he kisses her.
Helena Bonham Carter.
Yeah, that's what. She's really hot in that film. I mean, and she's basically says.
As a cancer patient?
Yes.
There is
really
something very wrong with you, Milan.
Alright, everybody, I'd just like to point out that Milan Jeftik just said that he found a cancer patient hot.
No, but it's not just a cancer patient, it's Lyndon Bobber Cobber as...
Helena Bonham Carter.
Helena Bonham Carter. Whatever her fucking name is, it's her as a cancer patient, and she's really hot.
Yeah, no, speaking the English.
Yeah, she's speaking the English. And I love when she kisses the dude, and she's like, so that's what taste is. That's what taste tastes like.
That's what death tastes like.
That's what death tastes like, and I'm like, I want to taste what death tastes like.
Anyway,
like I want to have a taste. That looks
go
yummy.
Kiss your dad.
All right. Anyway, to get off this, there are some great scenes in Salvation, but T1 and T2 is where all the interesting ideas come from, and they're the most original of the bunch.
Oh yeah.
I think T2 is for the most part a fantastic film. My biggest problem with it.
Sorry, T2 finishes up the whole, Terminator thing, just like, it should have ended there, but of course, fucking sequels.
Well, hang on,
I don't mind the idea of sequels. I don't mind the idea of Judgment Day being inevitable like they talked about in Terminator 3. I thought the way in which they did it was pretty stupid. I do like...
What was the I haven't rewatched T3 in a while. What the fuck was the explanation? Wasn't it...
Skynet just existed anyway. It's still...
Well, where the fuck did Cyberdyne go? Because Cyberdyne shut down.
Yeah, that's the thing, is it just came around naturally on its own. Judgment Day is inevitable because humans are going... The idea was humans invent technology and it's going to destroy them. I just thought it was stupid that it still had to be America. I thought, why not modernize it between America and the Soviet Union? Why not modernize it and, make it China or North Korea or some shit that unintentionally develops it?
Yeah.
Like, that would have been
Definitely, I totally agree.
better. But
here's the thing that pisses me off about T3 and somewhat with Salvation. It's such a rich concept for a universe, and they have expanded it in comics and books. So you've got ground there to do whatever you want. And if you're going to say fuck you to James Cameron anyway, then do it in a way that's interesting. But the problem with T3 is it's like, okay, Terminator 2 did really well and it's really popular. Do the exact same story, put in a woman, and make John Connor older. Bam, we have our movie.
Yeah, because
make that shit.
It's funny because if they're gonna go for North Korea, fucking North Korea. North Korea developing anything that actually works is so comical to me. So let's make it China.
Yeah,
so
China's fine. I just said
China's...
North Korea because that's let's have North Korea be the one that unintentionally starts Skynet on the path to self-realization. North Korea tries to hack into, because they've been doing that shit, North Korea tries to hack into the Chinese server and, take control of Skynet, and spawns...
They're just throwing rocks at it. They're like,
No, shut up. No, North Korea, like, this is my premise for how Judgment Day happens in a more modern context. China builds Skynet as a military protection entity, like it was supposed to be, which I'm fine with. Then North Korea tries to hack into it to, corrupt it and take it over and stuff like that. But it interprets the hack as a direct threat, like it was supposed to originally, as explained in Terminator 2. The Chinese try to unplug it because it starts attacking everybody at the same time because the North Korean servers are totally fucked, and it can't trace anything, and that's how Judgment Day starts. I think that. Cool.
Yeah, I mean the idea of time inevitably creating something like that is fine to me. It's just the way they do it is so fucking lazy. And you gotta love the convenience of an ex-girlfriend of John Connor's being related to a major army official who is connected to Skynet. I find that hilarious.
Yeah, the thing is,
I think I like the ending of Terminator 3, though. In that the Terminator...
It is a great ending.
Yeah, Terminator just brings him to the shelter because he's told him that's where, you gotta go to stop Judgment Day and all this stuff. And
here's my question.
And hold on. I just like that he takes them to the shelter and they're like, wait, what's happening? And then the world ends. And he's like, shit. I do like that. Like that's closer to what I wanted, how I wanted to end.
Like the Terminator lies to John Connor saying, "Oh, you can stop it here." It's like, but why aren't we going to stop? It's like, well, no, you can't. It's inevitable.
Right.
So you need to be safe here. That's my mission. Like, why didn't you tell me? Aren't you supposed to lie? Like, I was programmed not to tell you the truth. And like the thing is, but I don't get it. If North Korea or China developed Skynet, and they make why didn't they just make the Terminator into an Asian guy, like a big Asian guy?
Well, I mean, I'm
what are you
talking about an
about?
alternate history.
This didn't actually happen in the Terminator universe.
I know, but
there is a deleted scene in T3 that I fucking love, where they show you the soldier that the T-800 is based on, and it's obviously Arnold. But here's the funny thing: it's a guy with the character he's playing has a Southern accent. So it's this Arnold suddenly being like, "Yeehaw! I'm gonna be turned into a robot." It's different lines, but that's what I got out of it. And then one of the generals is like, "Ooh, I don't know about that voice. Maybe we should change it." And this weak-looking senator looks over and goes, "We can change it." And it's Arnold's voice. It's fucking genius. I love that scene. They should have fucking left it in. But another thing I like about T3, and I mean, we're talking a lot about T3 and 4, but the last thing I'll say about T3, I love seeing where everything came from in terms of the war Terminators, like the Hunter Killers and the tank-looking Terminators. I love seeing where they came from. The Hunter Killers don't look great in CG. They look too alive, I think. You know what I mean? They don't look artificial enough.
Fair enough.
If that makes any sense. They look too organic. But it's great to see where all that came from. Let me just say this. Biggest problem with T2, and why I said the pacing makes me go back to T1 more often. There's a very, very large bit of movie in between when the T-800 arrives in the present and him meeting up with John Connor. And almost everything interesting about that relationship and about those two characters happens after that. The good stuff that's happening in between that is with Sarah Connor. Mm-hmm. And everything going on there, I don't know, it's a little boring. And I know it's all building up to stuff that happens later, but I think it could have been cut down a little bit to get us to the interesting stuff more quickly. T2 is a very, very long movie. And, there's a lot of stuff you gotta get through to get to the action scenes, because it doesn't just open up with action. There's a very long build-up to it, which is fine. But I think that build-up in between the Terminator arriving and meeting up with John Connor is a little bit too slow, and not enough interesting going on.
Well,
I'd say that's my biggest issue.
Yeah, definitely. I don't mind the world building there, and to its credit, once the action gets going, it only really stops once.
That's true.
When they're in Mexico,
once it gets going.
Once it gets going, you have that one little breather moment when they're in Mexico, and then it just keeps going again.
I mean, here's the thing. Once it gets going, the movie is almost flawless. It is amazing after that point. It just continues to wow you in almost every way. With the action, with the story, with the performances, once those main core three characters get together. But the build-up to that, it's all necessary, but it's a little slow, and it kind of forces the audience to be like, oh, this movie is really boring, when it's not, and it gets you to all that cool shit later on. And that's why I find myself going back to T1 a little more, because despite the stuff that's improved in T2, what it's trying to do is very simple, and the pacing for telling that very simple story is, I think, really well done. It gets you where it needs to get you at a pace that works. And I think that's kind of why T3 is so bad, because it's the same thing as T2 without all the interesting character and story stuff, and you know, that impressive nature of what it was doing being revolutionary. And because it's so fucking long, it's boring because it's not doing anything interesting. And it's like, this movie would be better if it was like T1 and really quickly paced.
I think the pacing in Terminator 2 is significantly better than that of T3. I think T3 stops too often, to be honest with you.
Absolutely. Definitely. I'm saying that T3 should have borrowed more from T1.
My bad, I meant to say T1, not T3.
Oh, really? Yeah, I like the stops.
I think it stops way too often, because there's that scene in the motel, there's that scene under the bridge, there's just a lot of stuff where they just start, stop. And I mean, yes, it's a chase movie, the runway from Terminator. I really don't understand why they had to stop at a motel, why they couldn't just leave the state, but whatever.
Well, they had to get the weapons ready.
And I don't...
Hello?
I mean, it's weird in T2 where... What?
You cut out for a minute.
It just bothers me, I guess. I don't know, I don't think it... I think T1 stops way too often compared to T2, because like I said, T2, there's about, half hour, 40 minutes before our first big action scene. Then the movie doesn't stop again until they get to Mexico, and that's only for maybe 5 minutes.
Here's why I think it's not as big of a problem in T1. The action that they are doing is fairly small. So I think the jarring nature of the stopping and starting, it doesn't feel as jarring because of the nature of the action.
Fair enough. Milan, what are your thoughts on the pacing of the movies?
The first one I kind of liked. I understand your problems with the whole they stop and they start, but I didn't really see that as a problem much. The second one, you know, it's a movie that exists and it's cool. The third one,
no, just with the first two. Just with the first two.
The first one. The second one I like. I like the slow build up of where that, you know, RoboCop man, you know, hunts down the boy, and is like, and yeah.
RoboCop versus the T-1000 now. Shit.
I mean, we got RoboCop fighting the Terminator, and it was pretty fucking awesome. So
I've seen the T-1000 versus RoboCop because they're both cops. So.
Let's get into that quick. Sorry, Mom, to cut you off, but this is something I wanted to bring up earlier. T2, man, is so insanely impressive because it takes this little dude, this little fucking basic, mediocre-looking tiny dude, and turns him into this terrifying death machine that comes off as more of a badass than the T-800.
Which is hard to do. It's hard to come off as more badass than Arnold in a leather jacket, and then Arnold in a leather jacket and shades, you know?
With a shotgun! When this motherfucker's got a pistol and knives.
Right?
Like, this is impressive. It can't not be impressive.
Call to John. You know, I love that. Call to John now. I know this hurts. Call to John. Oh, God, I love that scene.
Yeah, it's a...
You like a scene? You guys call me fucking terrifying. Ian's like, I love that scene when this monster cop tortures a lady.
Well, no, I mean, I like this scene because it's horrifying. Like, it's the same thing as liking, you know, the first Why So Serious scene in The Dark Knight. I mean, it's just...
It's not like he was like, I was really turned on when the T-1000 stuck its knife into Sarah Connor.
God, that chick with cancer looks so sexy.
It's Helena Bonham Carter.
Helena Bonham Carter.
Helena Bonham Carter.
Bottom.
I give up. Milan, say whatever bullshit you want. I don't care anymore.
I'm seriously. I can't pronounce her fucking name. Oh god.
It's not okay.
Is
You
Helena
will
Bonham Carter?
She's fine.
What?
She's fine.
No, Bill, what'd you say?
I just said gibberish.
Oh,
just
no,
like
I'm wondering how old she is.
I mean, she's got to be close age to Tim Burton because they're fucking. So it's got to be
Are
a
they?
thing.
Well, are they married?
Yeah, they're husband and wife. I don't like to say they're fucking because it sounds more risque. But it's so weird.
Hold on,
It's so weird.
isn't that girl who played that goth girl in Beetlejuice married to Tim Burton?
No.
Gina Davis? No, she's married to Jeff Goldblum.
Really?
Yeah.
Bill,
Wow.
you know a lot about celebrity news.
Dude, if you met my mother, you'd know why. Anyway, one thing I wanted to say, a quick joke about Helena Bonham Carter. Like, it's so weird, because she's married to Tim Burton, so it makes sense why she pops up in all of his movies. And we know that Johnny Depp and Tim Burton have this close relationship. Why does Helena Bonham Carter also have to pop up in everything that Johnny Depp is in?
Because Johnny Depp and Helena Bonham Carter and Tim Burton frequently have threesomes.
That would not surprise me at all, because she's in fucking The Lone Ranger, she's in Pirates of the Caribbean. It's like, what the fuck? Why is she in everything
I'm gonna just posit this. They're probably good friends. They probably have a really good working relationship, but I like the three-way explanation more because it's funny.
It's probably significantly more interesting than what the actual reason is. Because Hollywood is really good at lying to you about how interesting it really is. But I think that's another thing that T2 does really well. Is
Helena Bonham Carter?
Yeah, it fucks Helena Bonham Carter really well. I enjoyed watching that.
Fuck Helena Bonham.
Oh, what do you guys think of that fucking fucked up hospital staff at the mental ward that Sarah Connor is staying at? It's so fucking awesome to see her break out and kick those motherfuckers' asses.
You know,
Well,
funny enough,
I thought they were reasonably professional. I mean, besides, eating pizza.
And licking her face.
Well, that guy was fucked up. I forgot about him. I'm gonna do that to someone now.
Wait, what?
He's gonna go lick someone's face.
And this is where Ian starts to sound like Milan.
No, just imagine that. I'm gonna videotape myself doing this, and I'm probably gonna get my nose broken. It's gonna be worth it. I'm gonna get on like a bus.
No, it's not gonna be worth it.
Get on like a bus and just wait for someone that's like sitting there not really paying attention, like looking at their phone or something. I'm just gonna come up to them and just fucking lick the side of their face.
I had that urge all the time. Like, I'm sitting there on the train, and there's like a dude texting. I'm like, that guy's neck is so nice, and I don't care. I just want to lick his face. I just pretend and he's like, what the fuck? I'm like, what? Like, do you lick my face? I'm like, no. He's like, and I just keep denying it.
Just deny it.
Yeah.
Did not.
Even though everyone on the bus saw you do it.
The thing is, like, with the whole, crazy-ass, psychiatric ward staff, I have a couple of friends that have been and have friends in, psychiatric asylums, and you'd be surprised how much patient rape there is.
No, I would not be surprised knowing what I know. I mean, these people are in a position of just complete unbalanced power because there's no way in which the people that are under their care can complain and have it be validated because they're fucking crazy. So they have just an insane amount of power, and of course people abuse the fuck out of it. That's why insane asylums are arguably the worst things in modern society. As far as just normalized things in modern society, I think insane asylums are pretty much up there.
But don't they not call them asylums anymore?
I mean, they're called psychiatric wards, but that's what they are.
Okay, I didn't think they called them asylums. That's the Arkham story we need. Is that particular?
It's not called
unbalanced
Arkham
power.
Asylum. It's called Arkham Care for the Criminally Insane. Yeah, everyone calls it Arkham Asylum because that's what it's called for hundreds of years.
Well, I mean, that's the thing it says on the creepy gothic-looking gate.
It's like, we gotta get rid of that gate.
It just brings us nothing but Batman is constantly looming over it like a goddamn gargoyle. We gotta change this shit. We're getting rid of all the gargoyles in this asylum because they just look creepy, and every time I look up there, I think Batman's gonna swoop down and, like, crack my skull open. It's freaking me out, guys. Let's change this shit.
Dude, I have, like, this awesome image of, like, Batman just sitting there on the Arkham's gate, just, like, peering, looking all badass and stuff, like the maintenance guy, or, like, the guy just comes, like, Batman, will you leave? I gotta clean the gate.
Oh, sure. He swings away. No, he fucking, he zooms up into the Batwing. God, that guy's fucking always up in my shit.
You know what it is? Like, it's funny, like, once they do actually change the asylum, make it all family friendly and clean, and, like, the gate is no longer this, scary gothic sign of Arkham Asylum. It's like Dr. Arkham's home for the mentally insane. It's like this, like, sterile, white fucking driving booth, and it's not scary in the least, and there's, like, a little cartoon bunny on the side, and Batman's like, I'm the night.
Batman still looms over it, even though it's all cutesy and, like, modernized.
I wonder if they turned Arkham into, like, a fucking Playhouse McDonald's, if Batman would still loom over it just out of nostalgia.
Yeah, he just loom over. Like, he's like an old guy. It's like Batman returns, he's like, just for old time's sake. And he goes like, Rrrr.
He's fucking looming over the McDonald's arches.
No, I just really want to see a DC story where they just create a damn prison in space. Just once. Just saying.
Oh, that's a horrible thing. They have the negative zone in Avengers.
No,
you sure it doesn't exist in DC?
I'm just saying, why can't, if there's a fucking satellite on the moon or a moon base, why can't you make your prisons for your supervillains in space?
Something like that, though.
I don't know. Maybe. I mean, it's comics. I'm sure there is, but it's not.
Isn't there something? No, but I'm talking about the cartoon show Justice League. I thought there was. Oh no! You know what I'm thinking of? I'm thinking of the story where Superman becomes a gladiator and that fucked up looking dude like obsessed.
Yeah, World.
Yeah, where he like obsesses over him and like fucking brands an S into his chest and beats the shit out of him.
Mm-hmm.
And wants Superman to kill him. I love that story. Anyway,
back to two Terminator movies. I don't know. I like both of these movies to a point, but God, Terminator 2 curb stomps Terminator 1.
It definitely does, but I think that there's still a charm to T1 that I find myself... I don't know what it is, because everything you're saying I think is definitely there and valid, but I can't bring myself to say it brings it down in any way. And I, honest to God, find myself going back to the first movie more. Maybe it's a warped sense of nostalgia. I don't know what it is. But I love that first goddamn movie. Another one of my favorite scenes. The Terminator in the first movie goes into a fucking weapon shop and asks him for this complicated futuristic guns.
And the guy's
like, just what you see, pal, just what you see.
Yeah, that was cool. Don't get me wrong, there's everything with Arnold in T1 I really like. We haven't talked much about the effects. Do you mind if we get into that?
Totally.
Sure.
It's weird, because I didn't notice it the first time watching it, and I did this time. That really iconic scene with Arnold looking in the mirror and taking out his eye.
Doesn't look great, doesn't it?
No, it's a puppet. It's weird. It's like, I'm really like, why didn't you just paint his eye green? You have chroma technology.
This was 81.
They had chroma technology. That's how
it was made for $1.50, Ian. Literally, it was made for the same price of a ham sandwich.
Doctor Who had chroma key scenes in the Third Doctor stories. Okay.
This isn't a Doctor Who story, now is it, Ian?
Well,
no.
It doesn't matter. What I'm saying is BBC. Like, Terminator 1's budget was greater than the BBC budget throughout the entirety of the 60s. The cumulative budget. If we take the budget that BBC had every single show in this entire 60s and 70s, 20 years of programming, it is still less than the budget for Terminator 1, I am sure.
It's especially funny if you've seen Adventure in Space and Time with, like, how really shitty their fucking production was with that studio they had and the fucking guy designing the TARDIS.
Just grab some fucking pieces of paper and poked hole.
He's like, here, this is your time machine. She's like, that's brilliant.
Yeah. No, but I mean, like, in the the first Terminator movie, they had chroma key technology. They already were using it to put the stop motion Terminator in there.
Fair enough.
So I mean, why wouldn't you just do that? Because it does not hold up very well.
But you gotta question how
the stop motion holds up really well.
It does, but let me just say this to maybe propose this point. What if they had done the chroma technology? Would it look as would the integration be so jarring because it's so low budget and so early in the stages of chroma key that we would be saying, oh, they should have just done a puppet because it would have looked so jarring to see that superimposed image over Arnold's face. You know what I mean?
Possibly, but if you blend chroma keying with makeup, you can get some really good stuff. And I mean, we're 20 years into, 10 to 20 years into the invention of chroma key. Because, 81, Star Wars 2 was the second...
Star Wars 2.
Star Wars Episode 7, or Episode 6, 4...
Episode 5.
Yeah, thank you. God damn. Episode 5 was already out by that point, so,
yes.
Or about to be out, I can't really remember.
I think so?
I mean, 1 was definitely out.
Oh, no, yeah, that was fucking 76, I think. I have no idea. I'm gonna look. You guys talk. I'm gonna look it up because that's gonna bother me.
Like, I mean, you look at the chroma key technology. They could have done it. They just didn't. I mean, the hand scene looks really good. I think
the stop
spectacle effects.
Yeah, I think the hand scene maybe lingers a little too long, but whatever. I think they're just kind of showing off their effects at that point, but whatever.
Yeah, Empire was out. Empire was 80.
Yeah. No, just saying, like, that scene with the hand where they just kind of linger on him fixing his hand for quite a while. It's
a pretty terrifying scene, though, if you take into account the time, because you haven't seen the Terminators with the metal exposed from the flesh yet.
Mm-hmm.
So when you see it, it's pretty horrifying to see this guy just digging into his arm.
Yeah.
Ripping out flesh.
No, that part
and even more so the eye.
That part I like, where he's digging into the skin and everything. It's just that it lingers on him fixing it for quite a while. There's like you see him pull the first one and like the finger goes down. I'm like, okay, that's cool. Now cut away. But then he does it like 3 or 4 more times.
Doesn't it seem a little too simple of technology for that advanced of a fucking robot? That you can literally pull one piece of metal and it pulls the whole finger back?
Well, no, I mean...
Like, it's literally just like a fucking, like...
That's how your hand works, though.
No, I know, but anyway, I'm just kidding.
There's bones and nerves.
My favorite bit of that scene is still, and just because of the way they do it, is when he looks in the mirror, and he doesn't really have to take the eye out, because he could literally just put the sunglasses on like that. But he looks at it, and in your mind, you're just like, it almost looks like he's thinking of it as a cosmetic thing.
Mm-hmm.
And he just takes this fucking scalpel, or whatever it is, and I think it was actually a razor blade or whatever, and he just starts pulling out the eye, and he pulls out what looks like a contact lens and dips it in the water. That scene always fucked at me when I was a kid, because they linger on it for so long, and it seems like just a cosmetic thing. Like he prefers it that way, even though he's a fucking Terminator.
The eye was damaged.
His eye was swollen shut, is the thing, so he couldn't see through it.
I know, but the way he looks at it, it almost looks like he's thinking like, that looks pretty ugly, doesn't it? I don't know. I always thought that was
I like the fact that it's more for practical reasons. He's like, this is not good, and he basically just cuts it out. Yeah, it's like.
Yeah.
I love everything in that room, because especially the scene where he's looking at the pictures, and you just fucking hear the guy yelling at him, and the Terminator goes through this list of insults to shoot back at him in the computer screen, and he just goes, "Fuck you, asshole."
Mm-hmm.
I love that fucking scene. I also love the idea of the Terminator literally just going through a window to occupy an apartment. Or just to store his guns. I thought that was funny.
Yeah, it's a little weird that, like, alright, so he rented the apartment, or did he just break in?
No, he broke in.
Then why was the dude knocking on the door like someone was supposed to be in there?
You probably heard him and presumed he had paid, but he just didn't know.
I guess. I don't know.
It doesn't look like the most well-managed of fucking apartment buildings.
Fair enough, I'm just saying, it's kind of awkward. It's like...
It is a little weird.
Like, I didn't think about it until just now, but yeah, that's a bit odd.
I really love a lot of things about the first Terminator movie. I'm trying to think of what else to say about the first one.
We talked about the effects in the first one. I want to talk about the effects in the second one. God, I love the liquid metal. It's a little dated now, but I love the liquid metal effect. There's a couple things that, like, the one scene where the T-1000 is trying to, like, hook on to the back of the car. I like that scene, and I like that you see him get close to the little liquid metal puddle and it goes back into him. I think it would have been cooler. I don't know if they had the ability to do this yet or not. I assume so. I think it would have been cooler if it went back into him, and like we saw it before it did, like he was missing a finger, and then when it went back, he got that finger back. That'd have been cool.
Yeah, I mean, it looks amazing, especially for the time. Like, this was even before Jurassic Park, and it still holds up today.
Oh, yeah.
The movie looks fantastic. Everything in the future, despite losing that grime, like, just the way the Terminator exoskeletons look, they look like they're moving now. They're not stop motion. There's no jerkiness. It literally looks like they're just moving of their own volition.
Yeah.
That's great.
Sorry, I got to take one step back real quick to T1. Bill, do you know, like that scene where the Terminator's following Sarah Connor, like crawling after her, toward the very end? Is that stop motion or was that a puppet? What was that?
I think that was a puppet.
It was definitely a puppet. You wouldn't know if it was stop motion.
Okay, I just wasn't sure. That looked fantastic.
Yeah, that was all puppet work.
Yeah, the fights
really good.
looked more puppet worky. I just couldn't.
A lot more of the stuff inside of the refinery was probably puppet work, just because of the close quarters.
Mm-hmm.
It's fairly easy to literally chroma key in a stop motion robot in front of a fire. It gets harder once you start to put it inside of a building.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
It all looks fairly good. All the puppet work in the first two are fantastic. It all looks really, really good. Especially in T2, especially that opening scene. One of my favorite moments is when one of the resistance soldiers runs past a damaged T-800 and just fucking blows it apart.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great image and a great little moment. The tanks look fantastic. All the explosions are great. And I love the opening credits being played over fire consuming the landscape.
Yeah, I really like that. I really like that the opening scene takes place in that same park that Sarah Connor's dreaming about.
Right, definitely.
Like, James Cameron's really good about that. I'm not going to lie. I mean, he's not the greatest director or anything, but, like,
no,
if you want to look at how to do an action movie, don't do it like Michael Bay. Do it like James Cameron. I mean,
oh, for sure. Yeah, he's one of the best action directors, that's for sure.
And
him and Tony Scott.
To remember that James Cameron was a fucking truck driver. Didn't spend a day in film school.
If you want to look at, if you're into action, especially 80s action, and you want to look at the two best directors of action who made good quality films out of action stories, you look at Tony Scott and you look at James Cameron.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the two you look at. And like my best example of this is you watch the first Beverly Hills Cop. It's a decent comedy cop movie. The story's a little and there's some awkward moments. It's just kind of okay. It leans a lot on Eddie Murphy. And then you watch fucking Beverly Hills Cop 2, and it is this action extravaganza with car chases and explosions and gigantic gunfights that also happens to be fucking hilarious. So you gotta give a lot of credit to Tony Scott there, and then James Cameron with Alien going to Aliens. So a lot of sequels building upon the original in the 80s and 90s. And isn't it funny that James Cameron did that twice?
It's weird because he did the first one.
Yeah, well, I mean, that was all budget. And the only movie he had done before that was fucking Piranha 2, The Spawning.
No, God, Piranha.
With flying piranhas.
It's weird because, like, after Avatar came out, it was this whole big thing that really started the whole 3D craze. The next big 3D movie was Piranha 3D.
Yeah, which again
I
is funny.
actually heard Piranha 3D was actually quite good.
I don't know.
I mean, it knows what it is, and that's what makes it tolerable. It's not my kind of monster movie.
Well, no, it's just funny because James Cameron got in a fight, basically like a Twitter war kind of fight, with the guy that directed Piranha 3D, and he's like, "You're cheapening the medium," and I'm like, "Dude, it's okay. We can have both. We can have
Wait a minute.
and Piranha 3D."
Wait, James Cameron said that Piranha 3D was cheapening 3D?
Yeah.
Does James Cameron think he fucking invented 3D?
No, but he's the one that's trying to develop it. I mean, James Cameron invented what is now the film 3D camera for Avatar.
Fair enough, but he's got to understand what 3D was and what that movie is calling back to.
No, I get that.
Like-
I'm just saying, he's the one that's trying to make 3D.
Definitely, I
official
agree.
art.
He's trying to make it all artsy-fartsy, but still, that's a little annoying.
No, I mean, I guess I kind of see where he's coming from. I think we can have
Yeah.
both, but I kind of thought it was
Absolutely.
funny. I thought it was
Yeah.
like, you're cheapening the medium of 3D. I'm like, dude, we can have both. It's okay.
James Cameron gets very fiery over that kind of stuff, and he's a very fiery personality if you watch him in interviews. He was on G4 once, and he was talking about Avatar, the universe of Avatar, and the big complaint everybody had was, "Oh my god, it looks so much like Halo." And then James Cameron was like, "Yeah, you know what Halo is based on? Aliens, and guess who made aliens, motherfuckers?" It was so funny, and it's true. He's a little arrogant about it, but whatever, he is right. And I was like, "Yes, fuck you, Halo."
I don't care about Halo.
I mean, I played it as a kid.
I never played Halo. Halo for me is just like, it is a man in the stereotypical. It is a man in the armament hinting the men that look like monsters, and it is good. No?
It's a good. It shouldn't be fucking. I mean, I think it's worth all the praise it got, but I just didn't. I was never really exposed to it.
Well,
I was never an Xbox guy.
The thing is, I played Halo, and I'm like, alright, it's okay, but it's not better than Time Splitters, so fuck this shit. I'm gonna go play Time Splitters and play as RoboCop Monkey and shoot my friend who's a guy with a fishbowl for a head. Because that is significantly more entertaining.
Yeah, but the story of Halo is where that series really got all of its acclaim, and it is a fairly well told story.
Really, the story. I know with Halo, it's apparently in the fourth one they revealed it's the Master Chiefs were apparently designed by some woman as a means to take over the world, and then the aliens attacked, and she's like, "Oh, I meant these were an alien deterrent all along."
Milan, your mic's buzzing a little bit. I don't know if there's anything you can do about it.
I think it's just a fan.
I don't know. It's just when you talk, I'm just hearing a little bit of a feedback.
It almost sounds like one of the parents from the Peanuts is trying to cut you off constantly. Yeah, exactly.
So, but anyway, the effects in both films are pretty cool.
The explosions, the seamless transition, the makeup on Arnold is amazing. When you start revealing the exoskeleton just more and more piece by piece, it's so cool because we don't actually ever get to see the full exoskeleton, except for the one scene with the hand is the closest we get to fully exposed exoskeleton. But it just looks so seamless when he's got that last scene with half of his face is gone.
Absolutely. It's weird. Can I tell you guys a quick funny story when I first saw T2?
Sure.
So I was I don't know, 7 maybe when I first saw T2. And I didn't know, and I saw the ending of it, my mom was watching it, and literally I had never seen Terminator. The first Arnold movie I saw was Predator. So my mom was watching T2, Arnold's all fine, he just looks like Arnold. And then it's the scene in the refinery where he starts getting fucked up, and I'm like, whoa, why is Arnold Schwarzenegger a robot? And I started freaking out. I was like, Mom, what is happening? Why is Dutch from Predator a robot? And it just freaked me out, and then I watched Terminator 2, and I was like, oh, that's alright. It was just so funny how jarring it was, just because it would be if you don't have the context, and all of a sudden you just see Arnold Schwarzenegger start getting bits of him blown off. And it's like, holy shit!
Yeah. I just love
that
how
being
unstoppable the T-800 and the T-1000 are. They're just they are like fucking tornadoes, dude. It's insane.
Best moment Arnold pops out of fucking the office building with a fucking minigun
That was.
and starts
yeah.
obliterating those cops.
It's pretty
and then-
ridiculous.
and
when
then-
it goes-
yeah.
It's pretty ridiculous when it says human casualties 0. Yeah.
It's like bullshit. I mean, it's a great moment for his character, but it's like bull fucking shit.
I
no
think
human
like
casualties.
nobody died, but I'm pretty sure people have lost fucking limbs or something.
I'm sure people got hurt. They just didn't. And he's clearly okay with hurting people. He's just not with the killing. Like, I mean, he shoots a motherfucker in the foot. He's like, but he's not dead. It's like, no shooting people at all.
No, I love that scene where he shoots the security guard and John Connor's like, what the hell? And he's like, he'll live.
Yeah, I love that moment.
The thing with what I really like about these, movies that are good is that, cinematography-wise, there are scenes that are just perfect, like, very memorable. And it's like, these are the types of movies that are just really good to be made from, because these are really iconic images. Mm-hmm. And like the first movie I really like, I agree with Bill, it has a certain charm that I, keep close to my heart. I'm a big 80s fan and whatever. But the second one, I disagree with Ian. It has that very, very light patter of the 90s, but I think it's, timeless enough, at least timeless enough for our age to not really be overly 90s. I mean, there isn't a guy going, yo, what's up? Radical, bro!
There's almost a guy going, yo, what's up, radical, bro. I mean...
No, the worst part is when he goes to the fucking mall and they're in the arcade and you see games of the time being played. Like, you see fucking Afterburner being played. And it's like, oh my god, this is such a bygone era.
No, it's just like...
That,
there's
and you
like...
see John Connor riding around L.A. on a fucking motorcycle, it's like, this would never happen today.
Yeah,
why not?
That, and there's just like John Connor teaching him how to talk. It's like, no, you say like no problemo or like, it's cool or whatever. It's like, no, you don't say that because people don't talk like that. Even in the
I mean, it's charming in a way if it's a child trying to teach an adult how to speak.
I guess, but it's just the language. It's so locked in the 90s.
It definitely is, but I think that's just a matter of he was trying to make it sound like a child of the time, trying to teach someone how to speak.
Hold on.
But did kids say that before Terminator 2?
I don't remember. I wasn't born before Terminator 2, so.
Hey, Bill, one question. You're not allowed to frickin' ride motorcycles if you're a kid in L.A.? Why?
No. Because
No, you can't ride dirt bike. They're not street legal. We have we got really strict street laws here in the U.S. as the 2000s rolled around. Because, fucking kids don't know how to drive. So they can't ride around fucking dirt bikes in especially with L.A. traffic. I mean, it's like a fucking gridlock every 5 minutes, so...
Thanks, Obama. Jesus.
No, it's been that way ever since L.A. was fucking built. So, yeah, that's
Thanks, Obama, for the mistakes of the previous administration.
Thanks, Obama, for fucking it up for the past presidents.
Yeah, I mean, like, no, I don't get me wrong. I really like the second movie a lot more. I just think that the biggest problem it has is it's trapped in the 90s. And certain scenes, it's like glaring scenes that it's 90s fluff. And I mean, I'm reasonably sure you could cut a couple of those out.
Definitely.
Like, I don't know, there's something charming about Arnold saying hasta la vista, baby, don't get me wrong.
I mean, that's his thing, that's his fucking thing.
Yeah, but still, it's kind of like, it's so 90s.
What the fuck does hasta la vista even mean?
It's Spanish, Milan.
Hasta la vista.
I'll see you later.
Yeah, it's been years since I've taken Spanish. Hasta luego is good night, right?
Milan's like, what is hasta la vista? Is this an American term for sex?
Is there any way I can use it
think?
to get ass?
Ian, I completely agree with you. Terminator 2 is completely stuck in the 90s, so I think we should remake it.
Where are you going with this?
Just remake Terminator 2, and just give it to Michael Bay.
Okay, no, shut the fuck up. Just shut the fuck up right now.
Like, he's trying to make you feel like an idiot for saying that.
No, I don't think it needs to be remade. I just think that that's one of the big issues, is it's very 90s. And giving it to Michael Bay is not the solution, because it's going to be very 2000s. You know?
You gotta wonder, though, if it would be the same thing today. Like it'd be like now the Terminator would be going around saying YOLO and twerking
Oh
and
my
shit.
god, I would love to see Arnold Schwarzenegger
Arnold
as the
Schwarzenegger.
Terminator say YOLO.
Fucking when he blows apart the T-1000 with the what's it called? With the what's it called? Liquid nitrogen. He's just like YOLO.
I do
dressed
like.
like a hipster.
I am reasonably disappointed we never got a chance to have Matt Smith's doctor say YOLO, except not really.
Yeah.
You know, like,
hilarious.
you know, it would be funny because nowadays he wouldn't be dressed up in fucking leather and shades. He'd just be dressed up like with a fucking fedora, a scarf, and like a man purse.
Why would he be dressed up like the Fourth Doctor?
Well, no, like a hipster, because you know, there's no punk
Why
kids
would the
anymore.
Terminator be dressed up like a hipster?
Because there's no punk kids anymore. They're all fucking evolved into hipsters.
But he's not dressing up like a punk kid. He's dressing up like a biker. And the
I know,
look of
but,
biker
like,
hasn't changed.
bikers
Watch
are-
Sons of Anarchy.
Bikers are all dressed like fucking in purple leather and latex and whatever.
When
They're
was
all
the last time you looked at a biker?
I love when Milan reveals how just ignorant he is about the rest of the world.
What are you basing this on? Fucking Batman and Robin? He's not
No.
dressed up like those bikers.
No, shut up. I'm not.
Except kind
Oh
of.
my god, that'd be a great crossover. Fucking Arnold breaks into that motorcycle race and he steals it from that gang from Batman Forever with all the neon makeup.
Oh god, I love that.
I would
credit.
pay
That
good
does
money to see that.
You gotta give that guy credit. That does look really cool, but the more you think
Yeah.
about it, that dude is spending hours in front of the mirror making sure his neon makeup looks really cool, and before he goes out to be a street hoodlum. That's really impressive.
You know what's funny? Because he has to fucking take out those fucking toxic contact lenses every 5 minutes so his eyes can breathe. It's like, I'm gonna beat the shit out of you. Just 1 second. Like, let me just get this thing out. Oh, fuck, that feels so bad.
He's gonna have really bad skin when he hits his 40s.
Probably. I mean, I'm sure there's...
That character in present day is probably dying slowly of, like, skin cancer.
It reminds me of that scene from RoboCop. I believe it's the second one where the lady's advertising the sunblock, and it's like, warning,
Oh, yeah.
overuse may cause skin cancer.
No, and it's like SPF like 3000 because it's meant to like live through nuclear war. And it makes me think of fucking Terminator 2 because there's that scene where Sarah is like, anybody who's not wearing SPF 2 million is gonna have a really bad day.
That's funny.
Yeah, I always think of those.
That is good.
Well, are they fucking referencing fucking RoboCop?
I don't think. No, I doubt it. It's an easy joke.
I mean, it's plausible, but probably not.
That'd be a weird reference to RoboCop.
Like, it honestly would have been cooler if you want to reference RoboCop, you gotta say, he's coming with me, dead or alive.
Oh God. Let me say this quick. Have you guys ever seen Last Action Hero?
Nah, I don't think so.
Good, because it's a piece of shit. But
I have.
It's a piece of shit. Anyway, there's a scene because Arnold. It's this very stereotypical, like satirical action movie universe. Arnold is a cop and all that shit. You know, it's very self-aware and all that. So there's this scene where he takes the main character, who's a kid, into a blockbuster.
Oh god.
And there's a poster for Terminator 2 on the wall. And they pan up and show you Sylvester Stallone is playing the Terminator. And the kid is like, look at you, that should be you! And Arnold just goes, what do you mean? That's one of his best performances.
That's funny.
It's this amazing... I always die when I see that, because I'm like, it is one of his best performances. Anyway, so I love these movies. Very, very nostalgic for me. And I love both of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair enough. I
think we're
enjoyed the first one to a point, but I think the second one just blows it out of the water, and I still hate Kyle Reese's acting.
I think it does technically, but I think that his acting is a little bit better than you're giving him credit for.
I almost prefer the actor they have for Kyle Reese in Salvation over the actor in...
Ugh, I like Anton Yelchin, but fuck no. Ugh. He's way too prissy to be Kyle Reese.
I know, that's why I'm saying, like, I didn't like him in Terminator Salvation either. Maybe I just don't like the character, I don't know.
Yeah,
I
okay.
like them both. I like them both. They're pretty good.
His scene in T2 is pretty fucking sad, though. Because these two clearly loved each other. They spent one night together. and then he comes into this hospital room, gives her a big hug, on your feet, soldier, love that reference, and then he fucking walks out of her life forever, and she's running after him. It's a very sad scene.
Wait.
What, is he a ghost, or is she hallucinating?
She's hallucinating.
I do not remember this scene. Is that like a director's cut scene or something?
Hang on, let me look at my Terminator 2 DVD. There's a chance I may have never seen the theatrical version.
Like I just watched. I'm pretty sure that's a director's cut scene because that is not in the version I watched.
Yep.
On Netflix.
I have never seen the actual theatrical version of T2.
Theatrical version's on Netflix then, because that's the one I watched.
Don't worry about it. It's literally that and a couple of other scenes. It's that I've never seen the theatrical cut of Aliens. I've only seen the director's cut. Because James Cameron loves to make long action movies. Anyway, so I mean, I don't mind Kyle Reese's acting in T1. I like his performance. I like his character. I love the tone that is there because of his character. I love the flash forwards to the future. I think it's a very pacifistic. That's exactly what I'm not trying to say. Pessimistic look at the future.
Yeah.
And I love that last shot where Sarah's at the gas station doing those tape recordings for John Connor. And there's just that shot where she drives away from the gas station, and there's a storm coming over the mountain.
I don't know, too obvious symbolism.
Oh, fuck you. That's a great shot.
I mean, it's
great
a good shot. It's a good shot, but the symbolism's just kind of like...
I don't give a shit. It's a wonderful, sad fucking ending, and it's amazing.
Nah,
and
I don't know. It's just it's too on the nose for me.
I don't give a fuck.
But uses an oncoming storm as a literal, like, actually shows a storm on the horizon as foreshadowed. I'm just like, come on, try harder. Please.
So if they do it in Doctor Who, you're gonna be really pissed off.
No, I mean, I don't mind Eccleston being called the oncoming storm.
No, but if they have it, it's like there's like a thunderclap behind them, you're gonna get pissed off.
No, I'm not gonna get pissed off. It's just kind of like, come on.
But did you know they actually referenced that shot exactly in Salvation?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, the last shot of Salvation is identical to that shot from T1.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, except with helicopters, and it looks like crappy CGI.
Well, I mean,
anyway.
It's not really it's definitely not real in Terminator 1 either.
No, but I don't mind because it's the 80s and I'm desensitized to those poor effects. But when it's like modern CGI, I'm like, fuck you.
That's a weird standard, isn't it?
It is a weird thing because I get I'm so desensitized to like classic poor effects that when I look at modern stuff and it's also not as good, I'm way less forgiving of it. Like there's no charm in it for me. But I have a feeling that like in 20 years, like kids now are gonna be like, oh, that was so charming, wasn't it? And I'm just gonna be an old man like, fuck you.
Like pretty soon we're just gonna have like biological 3D printers where we just print out like living monsters.
Yeah, exactly. Like, they're going to make Godzilla a real thing when they reboot it in, like, 2054.
And it's going to be like an actual giant lizard.
Yeah, exactly, with actual atomic breath. And
yeah, and that's what everything's going to do. We're just going to go to 3D biological printing for our...
Here's the thing. Let me say this. The day that happens is the day I want to die. Like, the minute the minute the trailer for that Godzilla movie plays where that happens, that is the exact moment that I want to pass away.
Why?
I don't know. It just that like seems right to me. Like that seems like the moment that I should die because I don't want to live through the consequences of that, but I want to see it happen.
Well, no, I mean, just like you wouldn't make like the thing the actual character. You wouldn't make it intelligent. You'd make it like a robot that has a biological body, though.
It doesn't matter. The sheer existence of it is enough to terrify me to the point where I don't want to live past that point.
But don't you want to see the movie at least?
No, I just want to see the trailer and die. Because again, I don't want to live with the consequences of what that would entail.
Fair enough.
What? If everyone took Bill's fucking philosophy, all those people who watched that very first, film reel of that train coming towards them would have just whipped out a fucking gun and committed fucking suicide. Like, I don't want to live with the implication of a fucking moving image.
I'm not saying I would kill myself. I'm saying, I mean, if I live past that point, so be it. But I want, if that is the moment that I pass away, I would be fine with that. And I fucking doubt I'll live to be that old. If I live to be that old. Medical science.
I was watching a Cracked video, and he's like, we all walk around, like, he's supposed to be from the future. We all walk around with 3D printers in our pockets that can print 3D printers. It's awesome, but it's crippled the economy. Well, yeah, it really would, wouldn't it?
I mean, it is kind of. Nicola is
I was
getting.
watching Steve-O's video. He posted a Star Wars or Star Trek video. It's just a discussion, kind of geeks, not nerds-esque. But the guy that he's doing the video with starts pointing out like a just glaring inconsistency with Star Trek that I've never thought of before. So in the future in Star Trek, there's no currency. Yet people run restaurants and own vineyards, and they're like captains and authority. So it's a really interesting point. Without an economy, how can you run a restaurant when there's a machine that makes any food you could possibly desire out of pure energy, so it's completely costless? I mean, like, how do you have a functioning society without an economy? It doesn't make any sense. It just sounds...
Utopia! No.
No, it can't be a utopia. You can't have... How can someone have a restaurant? How can you have things?
Maybe they're illegal. Maybe they're like black market.
Well, no, like, one of the, like, captains of one of the series, his father owned a restaurant. It's like, that's weird. When you think about it, that's really weird.
Are you sure they don't have currency?
Yeah, there's no currency in the Star Trek universe. They don't
have like galactic credits or anything?
Not in the entire universe. Let me rephrase. There's currency from some societies and stuff, but on Earth there is no currency.
Because I was gonna say, how do they have smugglers?
Yeah, there's like certain like races and stuff have currencies and whatnot, but on Earth...
I want to know how that society functions, and like, how do you buy something?
Exactly,
or how do you,
right?
How do they have those clothes unless it's all done with machine? I guess it's all done mechanically, so they wouldn't have to pay the machines.
And that's why Terminator and Star Trek need to cross over. Okay.
Dun 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 dun.
Right. Anyway, so everyone, I think we've about wrapped up on this since we're now talking about Star Trek. Which is something that doesn't come up on Geeky Gentlemen very often, but you know.
Yeah.
All right.
We should do 2 Abrams movies, I guess, just for posterity.
That'd be fun. Anyway, let's go ahead and give our scores. You both know how it works, but I feel the need to refresh everyone's memory for new viewers and whatnot. All right, so we're going to give a 1 out of 5 score for each film, and we have to use a creative noun relevant to the films. So, Milan, you go first, since you've been really quiet this week.
I had nothing really to add after, the beginning. I'm like, yeah, those are the movies that exist, and everybody knows them, and what else can I say that it hasn't already been brought up? So I'm
really
silent.
surprised we got through an entire video without Milan, entire review of both Terminator films without Milan talking about how hot naked Arnold Schwarzenegger was.
The thing is, he's like he's too old, and he's like an uncle that I know. It's like, you wouldn't fuck your uncle, would you? Like, no. It's like, oh, Uncle Arnie, the Terminator. He'll shoot a man in the face. He's a charming individual.
Well, you're actually wrong. You did make a sex joke about Arnold. Because when I made a joke about Ian said something about Arnold's ass.
No, but I brought it up. I was really surprised.
No, but then Milan was like, I would.
No, I'm just surprised Milan did not bring up naked Arnold Schwarzenegger at all.
Yeah, I just don't find him, he's kind of like family, and you don't fuck your family.
Okay, anyway, go ahead, Milan. What's your 5 score for both movies?
The first movie is 4.5, disembodied human skulls in the ravages of the future wasteland, out of 5. That's for the first movie. And, 5 out of 5 liquid metal policemen.
Okay. Bill, how about you?
I give Terminator 1 4 ice cream scoops in an apron out of 5. And I give T2 4.5 hypodermic needles filled with Clorox out of 5.
Okay. I give Terminator 1 2.5 naked Arnold Schwarzeneggers out of 5. And I give Terminator 2 4.5 Wolfies out of 5.
What the fuck's a Wolfie?
That wasn't even the dog's name.
Yeah, I know. That's why I gave it. That's why I chose that.
Oh, right.
I think I won this week, boys.
No, I like that. I thought that was clever. Anyway, so that's our review of Terminator 1 and 2, and I was wondering how much we'd get into the other 2 movies, and we got in like reasonably well, I thought.
We did the whole franchise, basically.
Well, no, because we didn't really review those in depth. We just kind of overviewed them, I think.
Fair enough.
But anyway, I don't know. That might be a topic for the future. Terminator 3 and 4.
Yeah, we do like a sequel to this and do those 2.
That'd be a good idea. Maybe one comes out.
How about maybe if we can do like a topic like on shitty sequels or whatever.
Yes, that's not a terrible. Well, we did one on sequels, so I guess that's kind of part of that.
Well, I don't mind doing part 2s, guys. Just saying. It is called Sid Part 2. Although we're not on that channel. Damn it.
Yep.
Yeah, so it doesn't work, Ian.
That joke kind of fell apart, but to be fair, I blame Google.
Yeah, and context. Context is a whore.
Yeah, anyway.
Never heard context.
Context is in everything. Alright,
Anyway,
thank you for listening. Thank you for listening. Until next time.
Hold
wait.
on.
Wait,
That's
we gotta
right.
have next topic.
My bad. I realized it. I'm sorry. Please forgive me, you two.
I don't forgive you, Ian.
Well, too fucking bad, Bill. I don't care if you don't forgive me.
I forgive you,
I
Ian.
love the hostility.
I forgive you, Ian.
Fuck you, Bill, and your fucking giant lizard ass. I hope you get raped by Jebediah Springsteen.
I'm still tired. In the sexual harassment.
Anyway, next week we're gonna be talking about the proper the proper use of historical fiction.
Milan cannot talk tonight. That's why he's been so quiet.
Yeah, the proper the proper use of historical fiction in media.
Yep. So, get ready for really vague... I'm a history buff, so I'm gonna have fun with that one.
Yeah, me too.
I will maybe say 2 things in that whole video.
Do you think I should get a guest then, Bill?
No, I'll be fine.
Bill is just gonna talk about fucking how the historical validity of Godzilla's creation. That fucking Japanese.
I actually could. I could do that, but it doesn't really. It's not historical fiction. It's just it wouldn't really work.
Okay.
I have things to say.
I might have to watch Lincoln then.
I love.
I haven't gotten around to
the
that.
Empire Slayer or the fucking biopic.
The biopic with Daniel Day-Lewis. I haven't gotten around to that yet, but I've been meaning to.
It's so fucking good.
What? I've been meaning to get around to Lincoln. I just haven't yet.
No, to compare fucking Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter to that one.
It's funny. A couple weeks before my dad died, I was up there, and he's watching fucking Abraham Lincoln Vampire Slayer, and I'm like, "What are you watching?" I thought it was the Lincoln movie with Daniel Day-Lewis, but it's definitely not.
That's awesome.
Because they came out relatively close, so.
Yeah, they did, which was fucking awesome.
Anyway.
Because everybody got confused, especially when it got nominated for Oscars. They're like, what? Really? It's like, not that one.
That is funny. Alright, everyone. So, the historical fiction will be the topic next week, and the proper implementation of it, apparently.
Implication.
Gibberish, yappy tappy toota.
Okay, end this fucking thing already. Put us out of our goddamn misery, for fuck's sake. I wanna...
No, not until you do a song and dance.
Okay, fine. When I'm blue, I'm always thinking of you.
Okay.
When I see you in the sky, yes, you, oh nuclear warhead, you.
Alright.
The sky gets red.
Totally Sarah needs a nuclear warhead.
The sky goes red. The flesh does melt. and a sentient computer hunts us down. Robots walk with laser guns. All we can is go back in time to try to prevent it.
See, Milan, you're really good at some rhymes, and then you kind of fall apart toward the middle there. All right.
It happened last week too with the poem.
Yeah. Anyway, let's go ahead and end this out.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Thank you for listening. Until next time, I'm the Philosopher.
I'm the Fanatic.
And I am the Madman.
And we are your geeky gentlemen, and we will be discussing things.